everyone! My name is Rikami Abelia, BSTM STM3, and today we will tackle about our lesson, which is research. So what is research? Did you know that research is very important to our life? If not, then we will answer it. In this video, we will tackle about what is research. Why do we study research? Who does research? Who pays? Introduce the what, why, and who of research. What is research output? What is terminology and using this text? Also, we will tackle about approaches of leisure and tourism research. This video aiming the following to introduce the what, why, and who's of research. What is it? Why study it? Who does it? And to learn on how to do research. What is research? According to Elias 1986, research is a discovery. It is making known something previously unknown. Research is a tool of science, and its purpose is to advance human knowledge. There have a lot of types of research, and one is the scientific research. Scientific research conducted within the rules and conventions of science. It is based on logic and reasons. Also, it is a systematic examination of evidence. Scientific research is replicated by the same or different researchers for similar conclusions. Also, the second one, social science research. Social science research is using the methods of traditions of social science. Deals with behavior of people as human beings. That is social science research. The third one, it is descriptive, explanatory, and evaluative research. This research might just describe what exists. It is also required more than just the accumulations of information or facts. This research, it aims also to provide explanation. The types of research. First, descriptive research, or a very common in the leisure and tourism area. There are three reasons why. First, the relative newness of the field. The second one, the changing nature of the phenomena being studied. And the last one is the frequent separation between research and action. The second one is the explanatory research. What is explanatory research? Explanatory research, it is a research method that explores why something occurs when limited information is available. 2. Moves beyond description to seek explain the patterns and trends observed. Next, the third one is the evaluative research. It is a type of research used to evaluate a product or a concept and collect data to help improve your solution. That is evaluative research. We're done the type of research. Now, the question is, Why do we study research? Why we study research? In general, first, it is useful to be able to understand and evaluate the research reports, articles encountered in academic and professional or managerial context. Second, many readers of these texts may engage in research in an academic environment. Third, most readers will find themselves conducting or commissioning research for professional reasons. Second reason, research in policy making, planning, and management processes. First, it is a policies are considered to be statement of principles, intentions, and commitments of an organization. Also, plans are detailed strategies typically set out in a document designed to implement policies in a particular way over a specified period of time or a specific period of time. And last, it is a management is seen as the process of implementing policies and plans. Now, the steps indicated provide an agenda for discussing the many rules of research in policy making, planning, and management processes. First one is terms of reference or a brief. 2. State values, mission, and vision. Third, decide what planning approach. Fourth, environmental appraisal. 5. Consult with stockholders. 6. Develop options. 7. Evaluate options. 8. Decide strategy, goals, and objectives. 9. Implement or manage. Manage. 10. Monitor, evaluate. Monitor. Now, we know what is research already. And why do we study research? Now, next question. Who does research? The first one who does research is the academics. It is a member of paid academic staff of academic institutions, including professors, lecturers, tutors, and research staff in North America parlance, or the faculty. The second one is the students. Master's and other degree students are major contributor to research. The third one is the conference, papers, or presentations. It is presented in a hard copy or online set of proceedings. Fourth is the consultants or the consultants. It is an advisory service to government and commercial and non-profit organization. Now, we're done on what is research. Why do we study research? Who does research? Now, the fourth question is, who pays? Why do we conduct research? Who pays research? First, it is unfunded. Second, the university internal funds. Third, government-funded research councils. Fourth, private trust. 5, industry, public, commercial, or non-profit. Now, we will tackle about research outputs. Example of research output is the academic journal articles. Example of academic journal articles is the Journal of Leisure Research from USA, Leisure Studies UK, Leisure Sciences USA, Society and Leisure Canada, Social or Journal of Policy Research in Tourism, Leisure and Events in UK. Fifth, Annals of Leisure Research in Australia, Annals of Research or a Tourism Research in USA, and Tourism Management in UK. And the second one is the professional journal articles. It is included the original research, but may publish summaries of research or immediate relevance to practitioners. The third one is the government, commercial, and non-profit organization. Government, commercial, and non-profit organization conduct or commission research to inform policies, monitor performance, or aid in decision making. The fifth one is the policy, planning, management reports. They can take a variety of forms. First is a position of statement. Second, market profiles. Third, market research. Fourth, market segmentation, lifestyle, psychographic studies. Fifth is the feasibility studies. Sixth is leisure, recreation, need studies. Seventh is the tourism strategy or tourism marketing plans. Eight is the... And now, we will talk about terminology. What is terminology? Terminology is a discipline that studies, among other things, the development of such terms and their interrelationships within a specified domain. Also, it included the names of material objects, but also the abstract entitled processes, properties, functions, and many more. And now, we will talk about using the text. Why is it important? Using the text, the summaries, and the diagrammatic outlines of chapter contents, various summary, table, or detailed table of content, and index are designed to aid the process of selection and the use of the text as reference work. Also, it should be emphasized that substantial section of the text are designed as a work manual to be used alongside actual research activity.
So now let's discuss about the approaches to leisure and tourism research. So for this introduction, we have the aim of this chapter. It is to introduce the range of disciplines and paradigm within which leisure and tourism research is conducted. It is the approaches or ways in how to conduct tourism research. So now let's have the disciplinary tradition. It includes also here in the topic approaches to leisure and tourism research. So here we have disciplinary tradition. It is the bulk of published leisure and tourism research has arisen not from the demands of the leisure and tourism industries, but from the interest of academics who owe allegiance to a particular discipline. So now, here we examine very briefly the contributions from the academic disciplines that have been part. Some leisure studies and tourism studies are considered or they are seen as multidisciplinary cross-disciplinary or interdisciplinary fields of study. So when we say multidisciplinary, it means that research from a number of disciplines is used. No, for example, we have the economics and the sociology of leisure or tourism. And next one we have the cross-disciplinary. It is means that issues, theories, concepts, and methods which are common to more than one discipline that are involved. So, nag-cross na sila. And we have the interdisciplinary. It refers to subfields of research which do not fit neatly into any particular discipline. Like for example, the time budget research. So these are mga disciplinary or these are the leisure studies or tourism studies that are texts that are seen as they are seen or considered as multidisciplinary ba, cross-disciplinary or interdisciplinary in the fields of study. We have here the disciplines and examples of mga research questions. So first we have the descriptive sociology. So mga examples of research question that includes here in sociology, we have first question, what proportions of the population and the various age, gender, ethnic, and socioeconomic groups participate in specified leisure activities? Or it means, why do members of middle class, highly educated groups make greater use of cultural facilities than members of other groups? Or if we evaluate this question, it is, to what extent have the policies designed to boost women's participation in sport been successful? So now we have moved on to second example of descriptive sociology. We have, what are the trends in numbers of tourists visiting a particular destination over the last 10 years? So that was the example, no? The research question example in terms of sociology. So now we have research question example of geography or environment. We have, what is the spatial area from which most users of particular leisure facility travel? Next, we have, what impacts does a particular island tourist resort have on the environment? So, kaning nga mga question, considered siya sa geography or sa environment, sa area, mga kanang conductan of research. Next, we have economics, mga economics kind of research questions. So, like for example, we have, what proportion of household expenditure is devoted to leisure or tourism goods and services? Kani siya nga mga research question, it's related to tourism questions ha, like kani economics, it's partially part of tourism. Next question we have, what proportion of the labor force works in the leisure and tourism industries? Psychology or social psychology, it's all about the people in the area conducting this kind of study. So, example question, what satisfactions do people obtain from engaging in a leisure activity or going in a holiday? So it's all about the people. Or what is the level of stress among teenagers? Next, we have the history or the anthropology. We have here the question, how has the balance between work and leisure time changed since 1990? So, kani siya mga questions all about the history. So, questions that are related in tourism or the policy science. We have, what are the leisure or tourism policies of the major political parties? So, it includes the mga government officials. So, kana sila imong mga. So, those people are your respondents of your research. Then we have the, what proportion of publicly owned leisure facilities are managed by commercial contracts? So that's included also. So to sum up lang, this kind of disciplinary tradition no, we have in conducting different kind of research, especially tourism kind of research, the leisure and tourism research, we have here um, let's use or we need to include the sociology or the people, the sociology or the cultural studies. We have the geography or the environment. Next, we have the economics. Fourth, we have psychology or social psychology. Next, we have the history or the anthropology. And lastly, we have the political or the policy science. Okay, so we are done in the introduction of this topic no and the disciplinary tradition or what to use or what to consider in making or utilizing questions. So next we have here the approaches, dimensions, issues, and terminology. So here we need to tackle or discuss a number of approaches, mga dimensions, issues, and associated terminology which recur in the research literature and discourses on research and of which at least a basic understanding is necessary if the literature and the discourses are to be understood. So here we have lot of examples, mga terms, mga concepts, and their brief definition. Kani siya mga, these are the mga approaches na or mga ways in um, conducting leisure and tourism research. So what we have here the ontology or it is the way of looking at the world, no? So it is assumed that the real world siya, it is seen by the observer, while in its perspective and similar approaches, the observer's perspective is not privileged. So it is they accepted that reality may be perceived differently by different people or groups. So that was here the epistemology or epistemology, it is the relationship between the researcher and the subject of research. So as what I have understood, it is the connection between the researcher and the main goal of this research. We have here the methodology. So methodology, no, we are familiar to this. So ways of gathering and analyzing data. So like for example, we conduct interview like question or questionnaire, different kinds of ways in order to conduct research. Next, we have the positivist. Positivist, it is the hypothesis are tested using objectively collected factual data, which, if successful, it produces mga scientific laws na siya. It is mga scientific method, logical inference, and functionalist or the objectivist. Post-positivist, it is mga hypothesis found to be consistent or not with the data deemed to be not falsified, establishing probable facts or laws. So kani siyang post-positivist, if natay positivist nga mukondak og mga scientific laws, so then post-positivist, it is the probable facts or laws or the interpretive, sorry. So it is interpretive. The people provide their own accounts or explanation of situation or behavior. So like mga phenomena, so kani siya is mag-base ni siya sa people. How they interpret. Next, the critical. The research influenced by beliefs, values critical of the status quo in society. Next, constructivist, as what you can see in the PPT. Constructivist, it is the people construct their own views of reality and the researcher seeks to discover this. So it is very understandable to know that constructivist, it is own perspective of the people. So next we have descriptive. Descriptive seeks to describe what it is. So like subjective ka siya. Descriptive. Seeks to describe what it is. And next we have explanatory. Explanatory, it seeks to explain relationships between phenomena. So evaluative, no, it is seeks to test policy management outcomes against benchmarks. And then we have also the qualitative. So qualitative, it's type of research, no, in which words or possibly mga images, sounds are the medium. So mao ang focus. Next, when we say quantitative, it is mga research in which numbers are the main medium or focus in the study. So more on numbers ni siya ang quantitative, like mo range ang questionnaire na ay choices nga mga numbers lang, like concrete siya nga. We have the pragmatism. When we say pragmatism, it is located between positivist and interpretative relativist position. It is used often policy, management focus. So pragmatism, mga management focus na siya. Or mga mixed methods. Participatory, it is the researcher and subjects jointly influence the pattern of research. So, ang mga researcher o gantong mga ikandakan sa research, maka-influence sila sa usag-usag. Next, we have here the theoretical. Theoretical means the research which results in general propositions about how things people behave. So, theory, or the pure intentions about the research. So, applied use of research to address particular policy or management issues. It is evidence-based na siya. Experimental, or it is the research where the researcher seeks to control all the variables, or the controlled experiment. Next, we have here the naturalistic. When we say naturalistic, guys, it is the research where subjects are research in their natural environment where the researcher control is minimal. So, real life context na siya, guys. Next, we have the reflexive. Reflexive, it is the process of examining the relationship between the researcher and the subject of the research. So it is intersubjective. So these two group of person, the researcher and the subject of the research, they connect into each other. And then we have, or they reflect into each other. That's when we say reflexive. Next, we have the empirical. So empirical, it is the research involving data, quantitative or qualitative, or both. Pwede siya mga involving data siya nga quantitative or qualitative. It is empirical. Pero when we say non-empirical, it is the research involving only theory and the literature. So we know the difference. If the empirical, it is involving quantitative or qualitative, or both, pwede siya. When we say non-empirical, it is involving only theory and the literature. The inductive. So, inductive, it is a descriptive survey. So, it shows that more people play tennis than play golf. So, it's more on description. So, this is just a piece of information. We discussed the deductive. So, deductive kind of approach, it is on the basis of reading and existing theory on leisure activity. So deductive, no, it is the data collected to test a priori hypothesis. So dili lang kay siya theory, dili lang kay siya mga hypothesis, but we need to collect data in order to prove it. So na siya. Next, we have the primary data. So primary data, it is the data gathered by researcher for the current project. So na siya primary data. Then next, we have the secondary data. It is use of existing data gathered by other people or organization for other purposes. So self-reported observe. So it is the subject's own accounts of activity or mga behavior, or the researcher's observation of subject's activity or behavior. So mao ni siya example of self-reported and observed data. It is to to know your to know your attitude or your leisure, no. So we need to involve in asking people so about their or about your past behavior, your attitudes and aspiration, by which the interviewer or administered or respondent completed questionnaire. So need ka og mo-ask ka og lain person in order to define your attitude in that kind of leisure. The validity. So when we say validity, it is the research accurately identifies or measure what is intended. So it is need to be valid. So reliability, repetition of the research would produce similar findings. So na siya mga relatable or related nga mga data or information. Next, we have the trustworthiness. Trustworthiness, it is the trust which can be placed in qualitative research. Sum up this topic, the approaches to leisure and tourism research, it is to introduce the different kind of disciplinary tradition and or context and of the leisure and tourism research, no, as well as the some of the general dimensions katong mga concepts associated with social science research. So it begins with a brief overview. So mahimo ni nato siya sa ginagmay lang nga overview if unsay dapat nga approach ang atong gamiton if we conduct field of study specifically in the leisure and tourism research. So it's dapat it will cover sociology, geography, economics katong maghimo ta og mga research tourism questionnaire or tourism research questions, like we consider the sociology or the social people, the geography, the economics, the psychology or the social psychology, the history or the anthropology and the political sciences. So if we must consider if we need to consider this one in order to gain a valid research. So in my own perspective or in my own idea about this topic, no, it summarized the second part of this chapter katong mga approaches dimensions. It will tackle about the range of generic social science concepts and issues which arise the literature and with which the literature and tourism researchers should be familiar. So we as future researcher, or we are the researcher now, so we need to be familiar of this following. So the ontology, the epistemology, methodology, then the positivist, post-positivist, interpretive, and critical approaches. So we have also the descriptive, explanatory, and evaluative research. So we have also the kind of approaches, the qualitative, the quantitative research, the theoretical and applied research, the empirical and non-empirical research, induction and deduction, the experimental and non-experimental research, the primary and secondary data, the self-reported and observed data, and also the validity and reliability. Or yes, it is. So that was all in our report. Thank you.